I didn't plan on speaking that night. Didn't plan on becoming the center of a room full of people who had already decided who mattered and who didn't. I was supposed to stand in the back, blend into the shadows, sing, when told smile, when cameras passed. Instead, one man's voice cut through the noise, sharp and amused, and pointed straight at me. "Hey, you, the kid in the gray uniform. Come up here." That was the moment everything tilted, the moment my life split into before and after. There were 600 people in the hall, maybe more watching online, but all I could hear was my own heartbeat, loud and stupid in my ears. I was 13, skinny, awkward, standing there with shoes my mom had bought on clearance because rent came first. I tried to pretend I didn't hear him, like maybe he meant someone else. He didn't. He smiled, the kind of smile people clap for, and waved me forward like I was part of the show. "Don't be shy," he said. "Let's see what you've got." This was supposed to be a charity showcase in Westbridge, some fancy civic theater with red curtains and lighting that made everyone look more important than they were. My school choir had been invited to sing backup for a famous singer named Logan Cross, the kind of guy whose face was everywhere, whose voice people called iconic. To me, he was just the man we were told not to talk to, not to look at too long, not to mess up in front of. When I reached the center of the stage, he leaned in close, microphone lowered, but mine was still hot. "Don't embarrass yourself," he whispered. "This isn't church." People laughed. Not cruelly, not loudly, but enough to remind me exactly where I stood. 4 hours earlier, I'd been helping my little brother with math homework at our kitchen table, the one with the wobbly leg. My mom was already at her second job, and I was trying not to think about how tired she looked when she left. Singing was the one thing that felt like mine, something I could do without asking permission or worrying about money. I sang at home, at school, in the tiny community center down the block. I never thought it would put me here. Logan raised his hand to the band. "Let's make this interesting," he said. "Key change. Higher." I felt my stomach drop. He knew what he was doing. His biggest hit ended on a note people talked about like it was magic, the note that made crowds lose their minds. He looked at me like he was doing me a favor. "Follow along," he said, "if you can." The music started, and for a second I froze. All I could think was how badly I wanted to disappear. Then something else pushed through, quieter but stronger. My dad's voice years ago before he left, telling me that letting people decide your worth was the fastest way to lose it. So I sang. The verse was easy, comfortable. I could feel the audience relax, like, okay, she's fine, nothing special. Logan smiled wider, like the joke was working. But as the melody climbed, I noticed something I hadn't expected. When he sang with the track, his voice blended perfectly. When the band dropped out for a beat, it didn't. The sound shifted just enough. I'd noticed it earlier during rehearsal, standing by the curtain, wondering if I was imagining things. Halfway through the song, I stopped. "Can we cut the backing vocal?" I asked, my voice shaking but clear. Logan blinked, surprised. "What? The backing vocal?" I said. "Can you turn it off?" The room buzzed. He laughed like I'd told a joke. "That's part of the arrangement, kid. I just want to hear it live," I said. "Like you did earlier." His smile tightened. "You questioning me?" "No," I said. "I'm trying to learn." There was a pause, heavy and awkward. Then he nodded to the sound booth. "Fine," he said. "You want real? Let's do real." The track stripped down, bare and unforgiving. Logan stepped forward. Confidence, first voice, strong. For a moment, I thought maybe I'd been wrong, that I'd imagined the cracks. The crowd leaned in. Then the melody climbed again, higher, tighter, and his voice faltered. Not enough for some people to notice, but enough for me. Enough for the room to feel it. He tried to laugh it off. "Long tour," he said. "Voice gets tired." I didn't mean to speak, but the words came out anyway. "You didn't hit it." Silence. Thick, uncomfortable silence. Logan's eyes snapped to me. "You're out of line. I'm just saying what I heard." He stepped closer, voice low. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I do," I said. "I hear pitch. I always have." Someone in the audience gasped. Logan, straightened smile gone now. "You think you can do better," he said. "Go ahead. No warm-up. Right now." My hands were shaking so hard I thought I might drop the mic. From the back, I heard Miss Alvarez, my choir teacher, call my name soft but steady. "Breathe," she said. "Sing like you always do." So I did. I stopped trying to impress anyone and just told the story of the song the way it felt in my chest. I moved through the notes without forcing them, letting my voice shift where it needed to. When I reached the high note, the one everyone was waiting for, I didn't attack it. I let it open. It rang out clean and clear, and for a second everything else disappeared. When the sound faded, the room exploded. People stood up, clapped, shouted. I saw phones, raised faces, shocked a few people crying. Logan stood there frozen, like he'd just watched something he couldn't control. Backstage was chaos. Managers arguing, security whispering into radios. A man in a suit tried to pull me aside, talking fast about misunderstandings and opportunities. He slid a paper toward me, promised scholarships, training protection. All I had to do was say I'd misspoken, that I was confused, that Logan had never claimed to sing everything live. I looked at the paper at the neat lines waiting for my name. Then I thought about my mom, about all the times she'd told me that lying was expensive even when it paid. "No," I said. "I'm not signing that." The next day was worse. Videos everywhere. People arguing online about whether I was brave or disrespectful. Some said I was a hero. Others said I was ungrateful, that I should have stayed quiet. Logan's team released statements. Lawyers sent letters. My school panicked. For a minute it felt like the whole world was telling me I'd made a mistake. Then someone else spoke up. A woman named Renee Parker. A session singer posted a video explaining that her voice had been used on several of Logan's tracks. She showed contracts, emails, proof. Others followed. Producers, engineers. Suddenly, it wasn't just my word against his. A month later, Logan's tour was canceled. Sponsors backed out. Awards were reviewed. He disappeared from headlines the way powerful people sometimes do when the story stops working for them. I went back to school. Back to homework and chores and arguing with my brother over who left dishes in the sink. But something had shifted. People looked at me differently. Not because I'd beaten someone famous, but because I hadn't folded. So, here's what I want to know. If you were in that room when a powerful person tried to humiliate someone smaller, would you have laughed along or would you have listened closer? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me where you stand. And if you've ever seen talent ignored, truth buried, or someone silenced because they didn't fit the image, share this. Because voices don't become powerful when they're perfect. They become powerful when they refuse to disappear.